Why, hello there. I've been expecting you. Hey everyone, Pete Cutajar here, and today we're doing something a little bit different. As you may or may not know, we moved into the studio almost a year ago now, probably about, 9 months or so. And every so often, every couple of years, I will blow a bunch of money on a bunch of gear, and anytime an upgrade to my studio is necessary. And I put out a little poll on my Instagram, just seeing if people would be interested in me making a video about the gear that I've bought and talking about it and why I chose what I chose. And there were 2 people who said they weren't interested, so if you're one of those 2 people, haha, here you are anyway. But there were a couple of dozen people who were interested, so let's go for it. As you can see by all these boxes, my wallet and I are on very bad terms, but that's okay because we got a bunch of shiny cool stuff to talk about. We've also made a nice cup of tea here to enjoy while we're going through the process. Nice. And I'm joined today by my good man, Mr. Pete, behind the camera. He's also named Pete and also from Malta, which sometimes can get quite confusing, but you know, all good fun. So let's get started talking about the studio upgrade. First thing I want to talk about, well, I just want to say thanks to my friend Thomann, who has donated all of this to the studio. So thanks Thomann for giving us all of this acoustic treatment, which we haven't done anything yet, and there's also a bunch of bass traps, but yeah, we'll get down to that real quick. Thanks bro, and without further ado, let's get into opening some boxes. So Pete, shall we 80s montage this thing?
80s montage this shit.
Alright, enough of that montage malarkey. Let's get to opening all of these boxes. Well, one of them in particular, this one here, is a little bit obvious what's inside. It's a new pair of drumsticks. No, this was kind of the main thing that I needed, was a new pair of monitors, but we're gonna get to that. Should we start with this one? Maybe you can hear there's some jingles in there. So this is of course a giant tambourine. Alright. Let's get going. My trusty shafra. Yeah, I think there might be a bunch of drum stuff in here. So let's see. I'm very glad I didn't put the blade too far in because there's stuff really close to the surface. So, alright. Here we are. And I was right, it is a bunch of drum stuff in this one. Okay, what we got? We have... These are monitor isolation pad thingies, pretty self-explanatory. It's just foam that goes under the monitors. Ooh, okay. These here, these are Vickfirth stereo isolation headphones. I had the old version of these, the old model, and they were super awesome, but they don't work so well anymore, so this is a little upgrade. These are really good. They isolate a lot of sound, so they're really good for recording drums, so you don't have to like blast the metronome into your headphones. One, saves your hearing health, and also saves like the click bleeding into the overheads and stuff, which is quite an annoying thing to deal with when you're recording. So next up, we've got some sticks. What did I get? Okay, we have 2 pairs of Vater. This is a Manhattan 7A and a Vater Super Jazz. The ironic thing is, since I made this order, I actually switched which sticks I'm using again. I'm using the Vickfirth Peter Erskine SPE2, the ride stick. But these are good to have anyway. What I am noticing is that the tip on these Manhattan 7A is round, whereas they weren't some years ago. When I had stocked up on a few pairs of these, they were a bit more square, so that's a bit strange. I don't know, maybe I still like the sound, but hey, more sticks are still good to have. So that's some Vater drumsticks. Now we're gonna get into heads, it seems. I think I'm gonna save all of the heads to one side and then we'll talk about those all at once, because that's some really nerdy drum stuff and they all relate to each other. So, alright, in terms of jingles, this is what we heard. This is a big fat snare drum with jingles on it. I think there should be a normal... I've got more heads here. There should be a normal big fat snare drum running around somewhere. And the reason I bought these, I'm about to show you. Hang on. So for the past year or so, my big fat snare drum has been this cardboard from a pizza box, and it's a little bit worse for wear and doesn't look too professional. It does make a good set list though as well. This is from when I played the festival with a really great songwriter I play with, Alexandra Alden. What were we playing that day? Let's see. Ladybird, classic. This could be my last song. That's from the new album actually. And when that album comes out, you know we're gonna make a video about those drum grooves I played. But anyway, enough of this big fat snare drum wannabe. This one here has jingles in it, and the other one I got doesn't. It just saves me having to put a tambourine on my side snare. But there you go, big fat snare drum with jingles on it. Okay, we've just got cables, there's nothing really interesting here. I think these TRS ones are the ones I got to plug the monitors into my interface. So these are like TRS extension cables, which will mean we can record in this room and everyone can have headphones at a nice decent length and everyone's comfortable. This came for free, which I did not expect. I just saw it in the email. It's a Zildjian towel. I'm actually just gonna open this right now. When I'm sunbathing, I want to impress all those babes on the beach. I can dry myself off with this Zildjian towel. They can be like, oh my god, you're endorsed by Zildjian? And I can lie and just say, yeah, I totally. I guess I can, dry myself off. Yeah. So, it's a Zildjian towel.
More cables.
A cable, yeah, this is for what you're about to see very soon. This is obviously a guitar cable. That's a bit of a spoiler, isn't it, to have a guitar cable and a guitar strap? But anyways, we're gonna find out about that anyway. Let's carry on. Guitar strings, go figure. Here we have a headphone preamp. This is a Mackie HM4. Once again, it's just like a headphone splitter, so if we record in here, we can have up to 4 headphones, each with their own volume. It doesn't do individual mixes, but you know, I don't really need that, I suppose. Strap locks. Actually, a friend of mine, good old Sloth from the UK, he had told me you can actually use the little rubber from Grolsch beer bottles, but we're a bit more classy than that, so I spent a whole €2 on these, so these will keep my strap in place. Here we've got a wooden bass drum beater from Gibraltar. There should be something else which I will use this in combination with. Earlier this year I was studying some left foot clave stuff, and I built a super janky DIY setup to get that done. Follow me on TikTok or Instagram, maybe you saw that. But you'll see the clamp very soon, and this is just to have a bit more attack on the wood block. Oh man, this is much heavier than I expected. These are 2 K&M small mic stands. I actually don't remember buying 2. I thought I got 1, but hey, I think, you know, 1 for the bass drum, 1 for the snare, keeps things nice and tidy. So that's 2 mic stands, and with that, we are done with the first box. Hey! Oh wow!
Oh, just one?
What a waste of a big box, but hey, thanks for packaging it well, Thomann. That's the bass drum head, we'll get to that later.
There we go.
Alright, time for the big kahuna, ladies and gentlemen. So, also, talk about willpower. I've had these boxes for like a week, but besides having like 4 gigs last week, I also really wanted to make this video, which is why I waited. But here we go. Careful of the giant staples. Okay, I'm just gonna tidy up later. I'm too excited. Should I join the bandwagon? Should I join the fad? So, ladies and gentlemen, this here is a Zalten slap clap. So many years ago, there was a fad of the SPDSX, and I saved up for very long to get one. And I didn't get one because I spent that money to go to the open-minded drumming camp in 2019, which I don't regret at all because I got to meet and study with Dom Famolaro for a week. Rest in peace, Dom. Thank you for everything you shared with us. But this time I am joining the fad. Now, why didn't I buy the Istanbul one? Besides the fact that this is cheaper, I kind of really like the sound of this one. I'm sure we will also make a video of this. So this taco looking thing, you could even use it as a little half pipe for your fingerboards. How cool would that be, huh? This is what I was talking about before, I think. In terms of the wooden beater, yes, it is. This is a clamp where you can I guess it's most of a clamp now, where you can clamp a cowbell or a wood block or something to a bass drum pedal. So this in combination with the wooden beater will serve as my setup to do some more left foot clave stuff, and I can continue being at that. So yeah, more updates to follow. So you can have a rubber thing if you're on a wooden floor, or a spike if you're on a carpet. So okay, we're on carpet in here. Do you want to show them the dope carpet? That's our beautiful tapijtegel business.
Yes.
So yeah, obviously I will be using the spiky side of this one, living the dangerous side of drumming. More heads, more heads. I really don't know. This is the monitor stands. So this is what I'm gonna put my speakers on. We will build these momentarily. This is the normal big fat snare drum. So this is, you know, just to lower the pitch of a drum without having to put a pizza box on it. So we're gonna put that there. I guess it's going on the floor. A mic stand, which is a stand for your mics, straightforward. And this I'm really excited for. Oh yes, ladies and gentlemen, he bought another guitar. So while I open it, I'll tell you a little background about myself. I may be a drummer by profession, but I do really enjoy playing piano and bass and all of that, particularly for composition. And if you know me well, then you probably know I'm a massive fanboy for Tim Lefebvre. And if you don't know who Tim Lefebvre is, what rock are you living under? You may also know that I play a Kala U bass, and what I wanted was something more appropriate for putting through pedals, and I want a bass that goes wah. So this is my first foray into making crazy sounds with a bass. So this is relatively cheap bass. This is a Squier Bronco bass. Friend of mine, shout out to Daniel Sant, has the Mini P bass from Squier, which I played, and I thought, you know, it plays nice. It's relatively good quality for its price. But I saw that Thomann had this for €20 more, and not gonna lie, to be honest, I got it for the color. I think it has a bit more bite to its sound. Look at that. Free online lessons. We don't need that. We don't need that. This, when I read that, or when I saw that it comes in Tahitian coral, I just thought, you know, it slays. Can we be playing a black bass or a red bass when we can be playing a Tahitian coral bass? So, you know, just had to be done, really. Small. I think I actually, when I saw Tim Lefebvre play live at Vortex in London a few years ago, he had 2 or 3 basses, and one was a short scale bass like this, probably a lot more expensive. Real quick, I will talk about the drum heads. This is well, they're all Remo, just because, I mean, I'm also not endorsed by Remo, but, you know, Remo, if you're seeing this, you know, just hit me up. This is an 18-inch Power Stroke 3 coated. I usually use coated heads just because I like the warmth of them. The first of the drum heads, here we've got a Remo P3. I usually, well, for many years I used the P4, but there was something I found it hard to control with the tuning, so I just figured the P3 might be better. I think they're very similar, except this has this little dampening ring on the inside. Oh, comes with a little impact patch, which I will not be using probably. It's always so satisfying breaking the glue of a new head. I love that. So that's that. What else we got? We've got the 12-inch heads for the 12-inch tom. This is a 12-inch ambassador for one of my side snares, which I rarely use, but you know. So we have a 12-inch coated Emperor and a 12-inch coated Ambassador. Usually I use a coated Emperor on the top of a tom and then a clear Ambassador on the bottom. But I figured I'm gonna try coated heads on the bottom as well, just to try and cut some sustain. Same thing with the floor tom. At the moment I have an Emperor X on the top with the reverse dot, which is really nice, but yeah, I'm just gonna go with the normal Emperor this time, and then we have an Ambassador for the bottom. We've got another 14-inch coated ambassador for the snare. Like, for me, there's no other head for a snare drum rather than coated ambassador. Like, you can always dampen it more, you can always beef up a snare drum more, but you can't give it more ring if you want that. So coated ambassador is what I've used every time on my snares for, I don't know, over a decade now. Last but not least, this is actually a snare side head, which, by the way, I already have a fresh snare side head for my main snare, which is why I didn't buy one. But yeah, this is for another one of my side snares. This is a 10-inch ambassador snare side, so it's super thin. And it's funny because this was like nearly 20 euro just for this small one, and my 10-inch snare, the head at the bottom is broken. And despite me never really using that snare, at least it has a head now for when I do want to use it. So this tiny little super thin head is gonna come pretty handy, I think. The most obvious one, this is my Yamaha HS7 speakers. Yeah, I just don't have monitors here and I really need them. So let's open these guys up. Alrighty, here we go. There we are.
Oh my god, that's huge.
Massive, bro, massive. It's covering my microphone, it's so huge. That's what she said. Alrighty, so let's talk a bit about these speakers, because this is not just an unboxing video, but it's also why I chose what I chose. So the choice was between the HS7s and these Adam Audio speakers, and a lot of people recommended the Adam Audios because of the ribbon tweeter and all of that, and they sound a lot more like I don't know, they're a bit like duller in a way, which is good for a modern sound. But I just know that these are reliable, and besides that, I believe you can tune them to the sound of your room, so even if they are a bit more of a harsh top end, that should be fine. And not gonna lie, I know this might be a bit silly for some of you, but I think these look nicer. So yes, the defining factor of why I chose these speakers is because they look nicer than the Adams. So don't at me, but it's my studio and it's my money, so I can do what I want. Power cable, nice and simple. And let's, I'm gonna actually set this down on the floor.
Pick them now already. Yeah, there you go.
There we are. I just wanted that extra. You know what, we might as well shout out another friend. Mr. Chris Vella himself said, man, 7s for the bass, you know. It's not a huge room, 5s would have probably been enough, but you know. Oh jeez, it's really heavy. Much more than I expected.
Ports in the back.
See what we got. So we got XLR and TRS in, room control, so that's like a pad, -2 and -4, high trim, -2 or +2, so that's good. If I find them a bit harsh on the top end, you can also kind of fine-tune that. And this is just the volume there, and the interesting thing, you can see MP there, so you can either buy 2 individual monitors or a matched pair, and I just thought for the extra few euros, you know, I'm gonna have these for a long time, might as well get the matched pair. Jesus, they're heavy, man. And with that, that's everything unboxed. So what do you think? Shall we set up the desk now, bro, and then show them? Let's do it. Let's do it. All right, see you in a bit. Alright everyone, that's pretty much it. So thanks for coming on this journey with us. So we got some drum stuff, we got some bass stuff, and now this setup behind me is complete, as you can see. Oh yes, beautiful. So of course my display monitor needs a stand and all of that stuff, but that's maybe for the next update video. I listened to the speakers and they sound wonderful. Obviously I had to listen to Bleed by Meshuggah. That was always going to be the first choice, wasn't it? But looking forward to recording music and mixing on them. Yeah, if you want some drum tracks or something recorded, hit me up. And other than that, see you in the next video, and cheers.